Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. There's a little bit of transfer speculation. Well, it's not transfer speculation, it's transfer news, it's updates. And obviously, the news broke last night on the live, not broke before the live, broke around about 20 to 6, the usual time that Celtic put out information to the stock exchange. And it says Celtic have enjoyed a strong on pitch performance in the 23-24 season, have won the domestic double. In addition, they enjoyed a successful year generating gains from player trading. As a result of the gains and the strong end to the season form, in the football perspective, Celtic now expect earnings for the year end 30th of June 2024 to be significantly higher than expectations, and were formed before the conclusion of the season prior to certain player disposals. The players' disposals that they'll be talking about will be the Jota ones would be added on, and Leila Bada, and also David Turnbull. Those fees would be added on to the gains that they had last season, and they're also saying that look, we've got a lot more money in the bank than we thought we had. Player registration valuations and trading can often do material influence Celtic's financial performance and additional trading revenue. Summer transfer window is underway, and following the closure of the window, the finalisation of the year-end balance sheet review, the club will then be in a position to confirm the extent of its earnings by publishing the results for the year end to the 30th of June 2024, in line with the usual timeline, mid-September. For further information, call Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay. Yep, Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay, the two that Brendan Rodgers said, yeah, if you want to find out what's happening with the transfer window, ask those two guys. Now, what does this mean for the club? It means that we're sitting on a shitload of cash, which means that the way that they've done it is they've increased the value of the players, whilst decreasing the wage bill. It means also that they have generated more money from merchandise than what they ever have. Last season, in the accounts, we had sold £34 million worth of merchandise, and that seems to be just going in the exact same direction as the Adidas gear kicks off again this season. The fact that it is good news from a business perspective, but the bad news is we've only spent 4.4 million this summer. And let's hope that Celtic are about to spend big in the transfer market, because there's a lot of speculation when it comes to players. Now, Celtic put out a statement. Well, they didn't put out a statement, but they basically told a team that Stephen Welsh was not for sale, not available for transfer at this stage of the window. At this stage of the window. And it's also noted that Celtic want to get rid of centre-back Gustav Lagerbielke. Again, I feel sorry for that lad. Celtic have really just pissed him about over the last 8 months. I mean, he had a club wanting to take him back in December and January, and then because of an injury to Cameron Carter-Vickers, they pulled the plug on it, and now they're telling him again, "Nah, you're no good, you can go." I mean, that's just, now you can understand from a football sense why they did it, but you've got to feel for the lad. You've got to feel for the lad. Yuki Kobayashi has also been told that he can go. But St Mirren are looking at a Kobayashi, and they're looking to put in an offer for Kobayashi. And Lagerbielke is attracting a number of clubs from Italy that are looking at him. Celtic are also willing to listen to loan offers for Mark Norobsky, Big Rocky, but he picked up an injury during pre-season, which could mean that he's going to be sitting on. Well, he never even made the bench a lot of games last season, even when he was fit. That went down to Stephen Welsh, who has been told that he cannot leave the club at this point. And I think that's an interesting one, that they've said that he's not available for transfer at this stage of the transfer window, which means that Celtic are obviously looking to get some defenders in, or a defender anyway, which means that Scales would be back up. I still think that we would be a little bit short if we get rid of all those players. I still think that Celtic would be a little bit short. Now, it's all fine and dandy trimming down the squad, but there's a case that you can trim down the squad too much in a football sense, especially when you're trying to go fourth on all fronts. Go fourth on all fronts, you get that? Because we are going fourth on all fronts. We're going for 4 I can't. I know it's early in the morning, man. Gives a break. But yeah, if we want to win the treble in Scotland and we want to have a crack at the Champions League, we need to have a reasonable sized squad for to be able to do that. Because you want to get players that are, and the fact that Celtic are also looking to put out on loan Dane Murray and a few of the other young guys. I mean, you're hoping that. I mean, at the weekend, you were hoping that some of the younger boys might have made the bench, but they never. I mean, it's one of those things. But this morning, it is all about the news and what we spoke about on the live last night. What we spoke about in the live last night is the financial state of affairs at Celtic. Now, I've not read out all the comments. I think I was quite vocal about the situation last night and quite passionate, honestly. If you watched the live last night, you would have missed how passionate I was about it. And now that I've had time to calm down and speak about it to people that work in business and things that nobody can understand. We can't really understand what Celtic are playing at, banking so much cash, because all it means is you're increasing your tax bill. You're increasing your tax bill to the Crown. That'll annoy the Rangers fans. Yeah, but it means we're increasing the tax bill to the Crown. Any business, I mean, even when I've run businesses back home, when your profits get a little bit too much, you spend some money just to bring down that tax bill. But who knows? Who knows what is going on at Glasgow Celtic this morning? Now, well, whilst we can all bemoan the fact that Celtic are just fulfilling their legal obligations as a public limited company by putting out that information to the stock exchange, and you've got to remember that the Celtic shares are at an all-time high at the moment. It is a legal obligation for the disclosure of any price-sensitive information, etc., etc., etc. And it's just it's stuff that's probably way beyond the average man's head. But it provides shareholders, etc., with any important announcements coming up to the AGM, where Celtic will then talk about the financial year. Not that anything ever happens at the AGM, because it's just a yes and a head nodding thing at Celtic Park these days. But one of the highlights of the weekend, let's do it finish on a happy note. One of the highlights, I know it wasn't anything to do with anyone else but Celtic. During pre-season, Callum McGregor said that there was a situation during the Manchester City game where a player let rip at Matt O'Reilly for a mistake that he made. And the player was brought in to bring that level-headedness, that little bit of experience that we had with Joe Hart. And it was one and only Kasper Schmeichel. Yes. And at the beginning, when he first signed, yes, I made the silly mistake of calling him Peter on several occasions. Well, at the weekend, Peter finally made it to Celtic Park. Yes, his father, Peter Schmeichel, the proud man that he is, should I say, we shouldn't use it in past tense, was at Celtic Park to see his son adorn the hoops, and take to his first game in paradise. What a moment it must have been for the legend, the absolute legend of the game, Peter Schmeichel, watching his son Kasper make his debut at Celtic Park. He'll be thinking to himself, lad, you've made the big time. You've made the big time. There's any club that most top players will tell you, if there's any club that they had a chance just to play it, just for even a couple of games, half a season even. And many, many, many top players around Europe have said they would have loved the chance to play at Celtic. And it was great to see Mr. Schmeichel, the absolutely fantastic goalkeeper that he was, in the stand and watch his son Kasper play for the Hoops. I wonder how many games he'll come to this season. I bet he comes to all the Champions League games anyway, because he'll want to see his son playing at the top level. And that can only give you a little bit of excitement and joy this morning, knowing that Peter Schmeichel was at Celtic Park watching his son Kasper as a proud father, as any proud father that has a son that is a football player does. And I hope that made you smile this morning after all the nonsense with what's going on in the background and the finances of Celtic. We need to finish on a happy note this morning. So here's a little nod to Peter Schmeichel. Here's looking at you, kid. He's not really a kid. He's an old man now, isn't he? But I just thought it was a fantastic way to end the video. And I think we needed a little bit of a cheer this morning. So I hope that's cheered you up, seeing the one and only Peter Schmeichel at Celtic Park. At last. And on that note, yes, you that are still watching this video, you sneaky little wisdom, have a fantastic day to all the Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party.